guys, and welcome to my channel, Niddleman. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to get weekly updates on movie reviews every single week, and remember to follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Niddleman. Now, this time I'm bringing you the review of the movie Kubo and the Two Strings. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I've never been a fan of stop-motion animation, which is what this movie is. Movies like Coraline, I absolutely hated. I know some people love that movie. The Box Trolls, I never was even interested in seeing it. They're just not my kind of movie. Now, with that being said, this movie is fucking fantastic. Okay, I went and saw this movie. I was not excited to see it because it's not my kind of thing, but I loved this movie. It was so captivating to me. There's the action, the story, the culture, the visuals, just everything about this movie was awesome. The story is basically about Kubo, which is this little boy in this Asian culture, which I'm not sure if it was Japan or China. It was just Asian. I don't think they ever really said, or I'm just not very well versed in my culture, which is probably pretty sad. But anyways, it's this Asian culture, and his mom is protecting him. His grandfather stole out his eye, and you can see in the trailers he only has like one eye, and his grandfather and his aunts are like coming after him to steal his other eye, and so he's on the run with this monkey and this beetle thing. You know, now that I'm explaining it, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if I'm explaining what the movie's about, but trust me, you'll be captivated right away from the opening scene. You'll be like, oh wow, this is really cool. So just trust me when I say the story is neat, even though when I explain it, it sounds weird. It's really cool. Now, as far as the action goes, there's a lot of fighting in this movie. There's like this samurai monkey swinging swords around. There's this like beetle guy shooting arrows at things. I mean, there's all sorts of cool magic, because the whole reason it's called Kubo and the Two Strings is because he has this kind of magical power where he can like, I guess it runs in a family or something, where they can kind of play this little guitar thing and like control things, and it's just really neat. I really don't want to give too much of it away. I'm kind of giving crappy explanations to stuff, which sucks, but just trust me, the action is really cool. There's a lot of fight scenes in this movie where you're just like, oh man, this is like epic, you know, and the visuals of this movie, oh man, it's like there's really epic sweeping shots of like when they're walking along, and it just looks really interesting and cool. And there's scenes where like they're fighting huge monsters, and you're just like, whoa, you know, and it's just, oh man, I know I suck at explaining this stuff, but just trust me, the action's cool. Now, again, so that's story, action. The voice acting is nothing too crazy special. I mean, you got people like Matthew McConaughey and Charlize Theron and Rooney Mara and Ralph Fiennes or Fiennes or however you pronounce his name doing the voice acting, and you can kind of definitely hear their voice. So it's not like anything super crazy. I also think the culture they bring to this movie, even though I sucked at explaining of what culture it was just really cool seeing something that's not so Americanized, you know? It's not just like over in New York City and, you know, whatever. They're wearing the garb of the clothes of like this Asian culture, their customs and the way they do things. It's just so different from what I'm used to seeing. It's finally something different out there. It's not the same rehashed thing over and over again. You know, you got their even religious aspects to at least whatever it is in the movie. It's so different and cool. So I think it's really good for kids to see that, you know, see something different. Yeah. I will say the biggest negative I had in this movie, and I had it right before I went in, when I saw the trailers to this movie, I thought Kubo was a girl. You know, the long hair, the way the voice sounded, I was like, oh, it's a chick. And then someone told me, like, no, Kubo's a boy. And I was like, what? No. But then in the movie, they kept referring to him as a boy, like, oh, he, blah, 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 or, oh, my son, blah, 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 or this boy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, it would throw me off every time, because I'd be like, oh, this girl, and then to reference her as a boy, and I'm like, oh, this is a boy, oh yeah, okay. And it just really kept taking me out of the movie when they would say that, because I was like, just make it a girl, or make it a more boy voice, or a boy haircut or something. Man, I don't know, that kept bugging me. But that's really the only negative I had. So this is definitely that movie where so many movies are playing, and people are going to be like, hey, Niddleman, what movie should I go be seeing this weekend? Kubo and the Two Strings above everything else, at least in my opinion, right now. I loved this movie. Out of everything in the theaters, this is probably my top movie right now. And for that reason, I'm giving this movie girlfriend material. It is pretty freaking awesome. Well, not perfect. Pretty cool. Alright guys, did my explanation of everything about this movie really suck? Are you excited to see this movie? You plan on taking your kids to it? Whatever, tell me something about it. Comment below and let me know. Now, if you want to stick around and see some more movie reviews, stay right after this if you can handle it. Go.